Army Rangers are being fired right now for firing rounds into the air at some kind of beach event. Now, this video is popped off. Check it out. So from that video, why would anybody pop any rounds in the air? Like a weapon goes missing, a rifle here or there, a round, like you're losing your entire career for that. So don't do that. But apparently that was not the only time that this happened, but this was the only firing that was actually caught on video, as many witnesses have come out, especially people from the city and local installations. Local news says all 18 Army Ranger instructors involved in the Billy Bowlegs event have been decertified pending an investigation. Video surfaced online showing the Ranger instructors firing their weapons in the air at Crab Island last Friday before the Billy Bowlegs event. Witnesses said they were firing blanks. The owner of Wham Water Adventures, Cameron Captain Wham Ellsworth, sent Ware News the video of Rangers that he captured. He says, "I heard a pop, pop, pop. I was on the other side of the Destin Bridge opposite the Crab Island." Ellsworth told Ware News, "I didn't think much of it, and then I heard it again. I said, man, that's really strange, but it couldn't be gunshots. Maybe someone's tire blew out going across the bridge." Then we heard it a few more times. We were all kind of looking at each other the same way. What's going on? Then I pull right up in the middle of the Crab Island and I see 3 military ranger boats and they're in full uniform. They're shooting off shots into the sky. Given the video I got where they only shot once, they were shooting multiple rounds. And he says there were kids out there and they're ducking for cover, he added. So when you look at it like that, it wasn't so cool. And there's retired military people who have PTSD who are just out there trying to relax. Yeah, it's hindsight is always 20/20 on these, right? Like, when you look at instances where you have people that, you know, they're trying to put on a show, they were supposed to put on a show, we'll get to that. The average population right now is kind of triggered or brought in, like even the veterans, that's part of it. But like you look at schools and all these other places where like we're training these kids, like you hear these sounds, this is bad, duck, cover, whatever else. So like what should have been a fun family event probably was more of a triggering event of like, kick into training, but they're outside. So, I mean, we're being taught this stuff at schools, or they're being taught stuff at schools. So looking at that from that perspective, I would understand why people are pissed off about this. And it appears the Army kind of backpedals on these Rangers because they were supposed to be there to some degree. The Army issued a statement saying the Army is aware of the incident that occurred at Crab Island near Fort Walton Beach, Florida, May 16th. We take this situation seriously and are investigating. The Army will ensure accountability based on the outcome of the investigation. AKA, hopefully you guys forget about this and we do as little as possible. I don't think Rangers are going to be kicked out of the Army for this. There will probably be some negative paperwork from it, but I'm not going to say that there will be more of it, but I don't know how they were instructed. There's a lot of legal levels to this thing that I'm sure if they were to be kicked out, because they were where they were supposed to be. The city of Fort Walton Beach also put out a statement about the incident where they said what happened at Crab Island was not part of the Billy Bowlegs Pirate Festival, nor was it approved by either the city or Fort Walton Beach or the Billy Bowlegs organization. Everything that used to be fun about the military is ruined because of events like this. Like, these are the things that essentially make it where you're never going to have fun in the military again. And it's because people like this. And they take it from this and they're like, just pop a few blanks off. Like, let's just, let's do that. And essentially their judgment sucks. It happens. People mess up because we're human, and we end up sitting here probably still going to have to plan, brief, debrief, have how many different papers, have you sign something. Like, I just hear red tape upon red tape upon red tape to even do events like this. They're like, can't we just do a flyover? Can't we just do that? Just stick to the basics. Don't do anything crazy. But they were supposed to be enacting some kind of battle situation. The city further said, as a part of Friday night's festival schedule, soldiers from the 6th Ranger Training Battalion at Camp Rudder were to engage in a mock sea battle with Billy Bowlegs as his boat approached the Fort Walton Beach landing. This, quotations, battle involved the soldiers firing blanks from their weapons. This is where they already messed up. They chose the wrong branch. They did not think this through. You wanted to simulate a sea battle, so you brought Army Rangers. They say this event went off as planned between 6:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. Friday, May 16th on Santa Rosa Sound near the Fort Walton Beach landing. A noise alert was sent out early Friday detailing the exact time frame and location of this battle, as well as the noises that could be expected. This was the only approved festival activity that involved the Army Rangers firing their weapons. Sounds like pushing liability in any way possible in case someone tried to sue the city for anything, but obviously investigations will be taken, and I think that will be on the Army side of this and also on the civilian authority side of it, because they are trying their best to just point the finger. It's like the Spider-Man meme essentially at this point. However, we're seeing a lot of people really offended by this because it's not just one person that was relieved. There were several others. Obviously, it rolls downhill. You guys know this. So if you're lucky enough to dodge it, awesome. But if not, you're going to be ruined for one person's actions, and it looks like 16 people have lost their ability to be Ranger instructors, which I don't know how big that cadre is in order to sit there and say, like, is that impactful, not impactful? But I can't believe that there's that many Ranger instructors that this is probably a significant dent to do a little CYA. One person says, one soldier in a boat fires a weapon and the other 6 soldiers on the boat get decertified. That's not right, and it's not justice. These men worked hard to become Special Forces Airborne Rangers. Punishing soldiers with decertification that did nothing wrong is heavy-handed. Only the commander that did not supervise his men and provided improper training should be punished. I remind you that these brave men would die if you push come to shove. And on the contrary to that, there are people that have other thoughts against this. This person says these men are all non-commissioned officers and know better than to act like idiots. They are guilty for being present. We are all responsible for our battle buddy, and we all will be held accountable when we fail our battle buddy. If this is not part of a public event, this behavior is absolutely not tolerated in the regiment. Also, Rangers and Special Forces are not the same thing, even though many SF guys are Ranger certified. Removing training status is standard until the investigation is complete. Afterward, it can be reinstated immediately, but I kind of doubt that is what is going to happen in this case. These guys are going back to RA. It's crazy because at the same time, you know, I know that this is or could be twisted very easily, that these people have been trained on weapon safety, including treat every weapon as if it's loaded, even that includes a blank, you know, all these different things of layers of this that, you know, the Rangers are probably going to have some repercussions, but I think the level of that is how much the Army feels they need to CYA and obviously amend the relationship with the city as well, because people are elected there. They are also dependent on the Army being there. Like, there's all these other things. Like, it's a very convoluted situation. But what do you think would be the appropriate action for something like this if you saw a soldier out doing this? I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, I love you guys. I'll see you next time.